Yo, what is going on, guys? Evan Tanaka here, back with another video. In today's video, we got I Rate and Improve Your Guys' Team, episode 20. So if you guys are new to my channel or this series, basically what I do is you guys send me your teams and how much MT you have underneath this tweet, and I'll give you a rating 1 through 10. It could be a 6, a 7, 8, a 9, a 10, whatever I think it could be, and I will give you suggestions of players I think you should add to your squads to make you guys have the best team possible you guys can. So if you want to be in a future video, follow me at EvanTanaka10 on Twitter. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss the tweet I make. For example, something like I posted yesterday. I'm looking for teams for my next I Rate and Improve Your Team video. If you want to be in the next video, send your team an MT amount. So if you guys want to be in a future video, send your team an MT amount down below like these people have done, and you will be in the next video. Also, guys, if you are new to my channel, I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe down below. I post 2 to 3 Myteam videos every single day and give you guys some of the best no money spent content, tips and tricks on the platform. Looking at team number 1 here, sent in from someone. He says, I have about 200k, willing to spend all of it, open to any suggestions. So rating out of 10, it's a very average solid budget squad, but I think the highest rating I can go is gonna be a 7. With 200k MT, there's a lot of adjustments you can make, and what I would say to do is for Mike Conley, I would replace Mike Conley and try to get Damian Lillard. If you can't get Damian Lillard, then I would try to get Marcus Smart. He's 15,000 MT. For me, you can keep Michael Jordan, you can keep Evan Mobley, Scottie Pippen, Aaron Gordon's fine, but what I would do is I would try to pick up Rudy Gay for Vince Carter, and then I'd move Rudy Gay to the starting lineup, put Aaron Gordon to the backup 3, and then probably pick up Eddie Jones or Rex Chapman if you want a sharpshooter for the backup 2 to replace Rex Chapman. And even if you like Vince Carter can slot to your 2, but I'm not the biggest fan of Rex Chapman. And then I think Wang Zizi and Jonathan Isaac are good as well. So I think your starting lineup could look something like Damian Lillard or Marcus Smart, Michael Jordan, Rudy Gay, Scottie Pippen, Evan Mobley. I think that's an amazing starting lineup, and your bench would be like Steve Francis, Vince Carter, Aaron Gordon, Jonathan Isaac, and Wang Zizi. Would be a very, very good team. That's probably like a 7.5, maybe an 8 out of 10. So thank you someone for sending your team on to the next one. Next team here is from H Spicy. He said he's on current gen, 200k, willing to spend a good chunk of it, mainly XP grinding. That's why I got them tis the season players on the bench. Okay, makes sense. So let's give a rating out of 10. This squad is good. The starting lineup's really good. It's just a bench. I mean, Danny Green's good. Matt's okay. David West is okay. So I don't think I can go higher than a 7.5, maybe an 8. Your starting lineup's like a 9 or like an 8.5. But your bench is kind of like a 7, to be honest. So it kind of balances out to like a 7.5, 8. Somewhere in that range. And with 200k MT, willing to spend a chunk of it. So I'll say like 100k MT around. I mean, I think your starting lineup's fine. The only positions I would upgrade is I would get rid of Kelvin Matt and I would get rid of David West. So players you could use is you can get AK for Kelvin Matt. He's about 20,000 MT. He could be your small forward or power forward depending on what you want to do. What I would do though is I would move Jaren Jackson Jr. to the backup 4. I would put Evan Mobley to the starting center, and then I'd pick up Wang Zizi for your backup center. So then your bench would look something like Damian Lillard, Danny Green, AK, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Wang Zizi, and you only spent like 25,000 MT, and then your starting lineup would be John Wall, James Harden, Rudy Gay, Draymond Green, and Evan Mobley. So I think that'd be an amazing lineup. So thank you, H Spicy, for sending your team on to the next one. Next team here is from Joey. He said, update, now have 175k, and I'm willing to sell Kawhi. Okay, I don't think you're gonna be selling Kawhi. Kawhi's really good, but team, honestly, pretty solid. I mean, I like pretty much, I mean, everyone here is playable. I'm not the biggest fan of Clyde Drexler and John Collins, but they're definitely very good and playable. Starting lineups were really good. I'm going to have to give his team an 8.5, maybe an 8. It's between an 8 and an 8.5. Again, not the biggest fan of these two cards, but for suggestions, 175k for me. It's just replace Clyde Drexler and John Collins. To replace Clyde Drexler, I would sell Clyde Drexler and pick up James Harden. In my opinion, he is much better. And then for John Collins, I would pick up a guy like AK. I feel like that'd be great for this lineup as well, because of the fact that you got John Wall, you got Clyde Drexler. Sorry, you'll have John Wall, you'll have James Harden, right? 2 really amazing scorers. You'll have Paul George and AK as more of your lockdown defenders, and Evan Mobley is like your all-around center. So I think AK for John Collins Collins is a great pickup, and I think Harden for Clyde Drexler is an amazing pickup. But thank you, Joey, for sending in your team. On to the next one. Next team here is some big dog status. He says he's got 110k MT. Ja is badged out, and so is Harden. I like Al for AI. It's Al. I like Al for setting screens, and he's on current gen. Okay, so rating out of 10. Again, you got everyone in this lineup that I like except for Al Horford, but again, you say you kind of like him for setting screens. So for me, I would just replace him. I would just pick up a George Mikan, to be honest. I would probably move Evan Mobley. Actually, you know what I would do? Here's what I would do. So I would probably put Pippen to the backup 3. This is going to sound a bit confusing. Try to follow me here slowly. Pippen to the backup 3. AK to the backup 4. Evan Mobley to the backup center. And then I would pick up Rudy Gay for the starting lineup. So your starting lineup would be Dame, Harden, Rudy Gay, Draymond, KG. Your bench would be Ja, Jordan. I'm pretty sure, who would I say? Pippen, AK, Mobley. That's what I would do. I mean, you got pretty much the team right here. You just got to move Scottie Pippen down, AK over, Evan Mobley over, and then add Rudy Gay. I think that'd make your team really, really solid. Did I not give you a rating out of 10? I don't think I gave you a rating out of 10. It's like an 8 though. I would give it an 8. Because again, I'm not the biggest fan of Al Horford. The other cards are pretty solid though, so I give it an 8 out of 10. Thank you, Big Dog Sass, for sending your team. On to the next one. Next team here, some Elven. He says he's got 150k MT. My first year playing my team, really needs some advice. Rudy and Collins are staying. CJ is good, but only offense, and Magic was packed. I like him, but can't shoot with him. Bench is somewhat horrible. Thanks in advance. Okay, so rating out of 10. I'm personally not the biggest fan of CJ McCollum. I mean, John Collins, again, solid. Drummond, not very good. Ray France, not very good. Colin Sexton. Chris Paul's outdated. So this team's like a 7. The highest I can give your team is a 7 because there's a bunch of players in here that aren't very good. So what I would do is for that backup point guard, I would try to get Marcus Smart. I would try to get Dejounte Murray, right? That's very budgety options right there. Even Caruso, you could try to pick up Paul Reason. A lot of good bunch of point guards there. For the 2 shooting guard positions, I would probably go James Harden for starting point guard. It's going to be like 40 to 50,000 MT, but it's definitely worth it to do. And then for the backup shooting guard, you could go somebody just like Donovan Mitchell. You could go Eddie Jones. You can go Drazen Petrovic. Some pretty budget options. Small forwards are good. Power forwards are good enough. You said you're keeping John Collins. I'll let you keep Aaron Gordon. He's solid. And then for your 2 centers, Evan Mobley starting, and then Wang Zizi off the bench. Those are my suggestions. Thank you, Elvin, for sending in your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from Jacob Morgan. He says, next gen, I have 650k in like 20 diamond contracts. Rudy and Penny are fully badged out. Okay, so Rudy and who are badged out? Penny. Okay, so Penny and Rudy are probably saying then. Okay, rating out of 10. Very solid team. I'm going to have to go 8.5. I'm going to have to go 8.5. With 650k MT, once again, don't think you want to spend all of it. You didn't say you liked, okay, John Collins, I think you should upgrade. I mean, even a guy who just Evan Mobley for 4,000, 5,000 MT is way better than John Collins at the center, in my opinion. So even if you just pick up a guy like Evan Mobley, I mean, I think it's all you got to really do. I mean, I like everyone else. There's no one else in here I'd really change. I mean, this team's very solid. So I think the only upgrade is at center. I mean, there's guys like Jaren Jackson Jr. There's Evan Mobley, who I think is really, really good for really cheap. There's Bill Russell. There's expensive, go D-Rob. Right, you go D-Rob starting, George Mikan off the bench. But if you want to go budget, I would go Evan Mobley. But thank you, Jacob Morgan, for sending your team. You got a very solid team. Nothing to really improve except for that backup center. Hope you, get some help from this. And that sounded stupid. Get some help. No, what I'm trying to say is hopefully you can, pick up one of those guys. But maybe like John Collins. I don't know. You can decide that for yourself. But thank you for sending your team on to the next one. Next team here is from Nick Casey. He says, attempt to budget 100 KMT, want to keep Jimmy, but the rest you can adjust. Okay, so he wants to keep Jimmy for sure. He's got 100k MT to work with. Okay, so I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Oscar Robinson. Not the biggest fan of Kareem. So those are 2 guys I definitely improved. This seems like a 7. I would give this team a 7 out of 10. I can't go much higher than that. It's just a bunch of players. I would probably go 6.5. There's like a bunch of players in here I do not like. So realistically, what I would do is for your 2 point guards, I mean, you can keep Caruso. So off the bench, definitely go Marcus Smart though. Shooting guards, Jordan's fine, but then I would go Eddie Jones, backup shooting guard. Jimmy Butler, you said you want to keep. Michael Red's perfectly fine. Blake Griffin is fine to keep for your squad. I would probably pick up Rudy Gay off the bench. And then for the 2 centers, Evan Mobley, Wang Zizi. two great guys there, both better than Embiid and Kareem. So if you follow me, you should understand. Thank you for sending your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from Sean Matthew. He says, wanting to build this team. Any suggestions before I actually buy the cards? Okay, so he wants to buy some cards. So I like everyone in the starting lineup. I mean, Dikembe's solid. I would rather Evan Mobley, but if you like Dikembe, you definitely could. Backup Jamal Crawford, Cliff Hagan. I would probably try to pick up a Rudy Gay. Like, I don't know how much MT you have or wanting to spend, but Rudy Gay is definitely better than Danny Green or Cliff Hagan. What you could do is you could go off the bench Jamal Crawford, Danny Green, Rudy Gay, George Mikan, and DeMarcus Cousins, because George Mikan should be the power forward. Cousins should be the center, but I think having Rudy Gay the small forward position and then Danny Green at the 2 will help a lot. So that's my suggestion to you. Just a small suggestion. Other than that, it's pretty good. Thank you for sending your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from that one time trying to get a bot MT for Kobe or a good shooting guard, but mainly Kobe. Anyone feel free to give suggestions or even maybe rate my team as well. Have a great day, everyone. Hey, you have a great do one time. But let's see, rating out of 10. So you got a very solid team. Do you not have a shooting guard? Is that what you're trying to say? Like off the bench, you don't have a shooting guard? So what I would do is, let's just talk about your bench, because honestly, your starting lineup's fine. I would say just keep your starting lineup. So what I would do is probably, so we're getting rid of Rayfield France, right? So your power forward's going to be Kevin Durant, I guess. Or you know what you could do? Here's what you could do. So what you're going to do is you're going to move Kevin Durant to the starting. Okay, this is going to be kind of confusing. Kevin Durant to the starting small forward, LeBron James to the starting power forward, Paul George to the backup small forward, Giannis to the backup power forward. Okay, so your bench is going to be right now, or sorry, your starting lineup right now is going to be Dame, Kawhi, Kevin Durant, LeBron, Wang, ZZ. Your bench is going to be Ja. We're gonna get rid of Rayfield France. But then your bench is going to be Paul George, Giannis, and DeMarcus Cousins. So for shooting guard, you didn't give how much MT you have. You have 50K. James Harden. He's 50K MT. Great option. James Harden is amazing. Probably one of the best value cards in the game as well. So yeah, I would definitely say James Harden, but thank you for sending your team. On to the next one. I haven't gotten much MT at the moment, but just need to know the next upgrade with any MT. Okay, so rating out of 10, this is a very solid team. Yeah, I mean, I would have to give this probably an 8.5. I'm not the biggest fan of Gary Payton at the 2. He's way better at the 1. Nicholas Batum is still very good, but he definitely could be upgraded. Again, I don't know how much MT you have, but if you can get rid of Batum and you could pick up Rudy Gay, like, he's so much better than Nicholas Batum. Rudy Gay is so good, so I think that'd be your next upgrade. Again, you said kind of just give me like a next upgrade. I think Rudy Gay for Nicholas Batum would be a great option. So thank you for sending your team, and on to the next one. Next team here is from Joshua Griggs, I don't know how to say it. I apologize for not being able to say that. Only have 7,000 MT, but willing to sell anyone besides T-Mac and the Admiral. Okay, I mean, it's a very solid team. You got AI. I mean, starting lineup's pretty good. Like it's like, you know, good enough. Probably not going to sell that. John Wall, Harden, Pippen, Dave Cowens, and Kevin Garnett. Okay, so the only upgrade I see is Dave Cowens. Don't know how much Dave Cowens sells for, but if you can pick up a backup, I would go Jonathan Isaac, to be honest. If you could pick up Jonathan Isaac for about like what, he's probably like 5,000 to 10,000 MT. If you could pick up Jonathan Isaac for Dave Cowens, I think he's definitely better than Dave Cowens. That's kind of my only upgrade. Other than that, your team's very good. I don't know if I gave you a rating out of 10, but it's like an 8.5 out of 10. So thank you, Joshua, for sending your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from Kelvin Johnson, and Kelvin John. I said Johnson. He's got 500 KMT. Any upgrades or arrangement of lineup is always welcome. Okay. So 500 KMT to work with. We need to give a rating though. Let's see. I mean, Crusoe is decent, but I'm just not the biggest fan of him. Okay, so again, once again, this is going to sound very confusing, but what you're going to do is you are going to move Scottie Pippen to the starting 4. You're going to move AK to the backup 3. You're going to move John Collins to the backup 4, and you're going to put Evan Mobley as the backup center. That's just a great lineup arrangement. You said you're open to arrangements of the lineup. And then other than that, I would just pick up a point guard. I would just pick up, I mean, you got a lot of MT. You could go John Wall. You could go Marcus Smart. Those are two guys I would go for. If you could try to get Gary Payton. Wait, no, we're not Gary Payton. Sorry, that was last season. Yeah, so I would try to pick up Marcus Smart or John Wall if you want to spend a lot more MT. But other than that, I think you're good. Just do that arrangement of the lineup I told you to do, and I think that'll help your team out a little bit more. But thank you for sending your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from 2K22 Myteam. He says, I like the 3 hunt on current gen. Okay. Rating out of 10. I mean, starting lineup, really good. Bench, really solid as well. There's honestly, I mean, you do have 300 KMT, but there's honestly no suggestions I can really make. I mean, I would run D-Rob over Giannis and then put Giannis over Draymond. That's personally what I would do, but I think your team's great. Rating out of 10. This seems a 9. This seems probably a 9 out of 10. But yeah, thank you 2K22 my team for sending your team on to the next one. Next team here is from Bryce. Pretty sure that's how you say it. Apologize if I'm saying it wrong. I play 2 starters, quarters, and bench 2 quarters. That's why some players on the bench willing to spend 100k MT and sell Jimmy for 2 new shooting guards and a bench power forward or anything else you suggest. Okay, so rating out of 10. This is a solid team. I'm going to go 8. I'm going to go 8 out of 10. It's a very solid team, but nothing crazy. But it's a very good team. You got 100k MT to work with. And is there any positions you want? You want 2 new shooting guards? I think Jimmy's perfectly fine. I think Eddie Jones is great as well. If you want to spend MT on a shooting guard, I would go James Harden over Eddie Jones, but I would definitely keep Jimmy Butler. Like, I would keep your starting lineup. Your starting lineup's perfectly fine. I would probably go Gary Payton, James Harden, Larry Bird, Rocco, and Jaren Jackson Jr. I think that's fine. I mean, if you want to pick up a guy like George Mikan over Jaren Jackson Jr., or you want to go expensive and try to afford a D-Rob, but no, you don't got 100 MT. Never mind. So I'd probably just go James Harden, to be honest. That's the only upgrade I can really see. Like, you guys have such good teams. They're like very solid teams. Like, sometimes it's just 1 or 2 players that's missing, or even just a lineup arrangement that's missing. So it's kind of hard for me to explain. You know, I can't, like, there's a lot of teams I can't just give like 12 upgrades. Like, this team really only needs 1 upgrade, and that's James Harden for Eddie Jones, especially with the MT budget, right? And you said you want a new shooting guard, so you said you want to bench power forward. I think Rocco's fine, to be honest. I mean, if you can afford AK, yeah, you probably, I mean, yeah, sure. If you want to go AK is better than Rocco. Sure, you want to go AK, there you go. You can go AK and you go James Harden. But thank you, Bryce, for sending your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from some guy. He says, I got 31 KMT, also sitting on 9 diamond contracts. I got for 11k or under, and that Clay has 52 gold, 8 Hall of Fame badges, diamond shoe, and diamond contract. Hoping for the price to go back up for a little. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I see what you're trying to do. Okay, rating out of 10. Starting lineup is really good. Bench is good. Not the biggest fan of John Collins. Wiggins is good. Haven't used him though. You got 31 KMT. I mean, personally, I would sell Wiggins to pick up Harden, but I know a lot of people like Wiggins. Rating out of 10, did I give one? I don't think so. I'm going to go 8.5. And then I would probably try to afford AK over John Collins. I think AK is better than John Collins. Even if you can afford a Rudy Gay in this lineup, that'd be really nice. Like, move Jonathan Isaac to the 4, and then put Rudy Gay at the backup 3, and then maybe start him over Pippen. You could do that. But honestly, like, once again, your team is very, very good. Like, there's like not really a suggestion I can really make. But thank you for sending your team. On to the next one. Next team here, he's got around 700 KMT for upgrades. Okay, let's see. So very, very good starting lineup. By the way, I would run Jared Walls at the 3, and I would run LeBron at the 4. That's personally what I would do. Just gonna give you a suggestion there. Rating out of 10 though, I mean, bench really solid. As well, I'm gonna probably go 8.5. It's close to a 9 though. It's close to a 9. The bench, I'm not the biggest fan of Julius Erving, so I would definitely go James Harden over Julius Erving, even to Kobe Bryant if you want to spend a lot more MT. I don't know how much you want to spend, but I definitely would go James Harden. He's super, super good. Larry Bird's solid, but I would rather Rudy Gay, so I would say probably go Rudy Gay. And then what I would do is I mean, you have Boogie, so you probably want to use him. I personally wouldn't use Boogie, and I would run KG at the 5 and then pick up AK for the backup 4. But since you probably want to run Boogie, that's fine to do. But I would just fix those bench shooting guard, bench small forward with James Harden and Rudy Gay. 2 great upgrades that'll help your team out a lot. But thank you for sending your team, and I'm pretty sure that is it. Again, if I missed your team, I apologize. I'm pretty sure I got them all. I think I had 19 replies, and I'm pretty sure we went through like 19 teams here. Well, I think some of them, like, people commented on other people's, but yeah, that's the end. There's no more. I can't scroll. So that is it for the video, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy. I rate and improve your guys' teams, episode number 20. Again, if you want to be in a future video, follow me on EvanTanaka10 on Twitter. Turn on my post notifications so you don't miss when I make that tweet. You can send your MT amount and your team down below in that comment section, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.